All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rev Up Week 2. If you are just now joining us, please take your, put your cameras on so you get full credit for taking this course this morning. If I have to show my beautiful face, so do you, so do you. All right, so this morning we are covering Rev Up Module 2. This is establishing your brand and developing your farm. Okay, everybody in? I'm seeing lots of ceilings. This is always fun. All right, bear with me, guys, as I work through navigating the system again. All right, so in this module, you're going to learn those proven methods for creating and establishing your own personal brand. From there, we're going to move into the concepts and strategies for developing and maintaining a successful farm. Module 2 is the second class in a series of 12 workshops, but as a reminder, you can, of course, attend these in any order. We're going to do this, of course, on a 12-week rotating basis. So I know a couple of you, I think, are actually doing this for a second time. And you are more than welcome to do this for a 15th time if you ever want to. Okay. Is everybody able to see my screen okay? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm assuming you tell me if you couldn't, right? All right, come on. There we go. Ta-da. So your objectives for this module, of course, are learning your one value proposition, creating your individual branding, email signatures, voicemail greetings, digital and print media, and branding recognition. And your biggest key factor here is being consistency. We're going to talk a little bit more about the philosophy of farming, the types of farms, research and choosing a farm, outlining the farm touches, walking your farm, and maintaining your farm. This is not how Erin maintains her farm. Okay, you guys, we're not doing any of that. If you don't know, she has horses and she joins us on her horse farm sometimes. Okay, so what is your one value proposition for client attraction? How we create your OVP? We want to define your uniqueness as a real estate professional and to clearly state the benefits to your clients. You're asking these questions. Why should my client associate themselves with me and my company? What do I provide that makes me unique? And how do I set myself apart from other agents? Anybody know how many registered agents we have in our general area right now? Anybody know the most recent number?
I think it's 120,000.
In Charlotte, not quite that many. I think we're looking a little bit less than that. I think maybe that's a North Carolina number. I'm not sure. But just considering, you know, when you're running these numbers and you're looking at things like there's one that came out. I wish I still had it. There was a report that came out last week, the week before, that said we've got more licensed realtors in our state than we do houses for sale, which is really kind of sad. But we have to stop and think that some of those agents are going to be referral-based agents. Some of them are not active. Some of them are maybe new construction or just affiliated for property management and that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing is there's a lot of us, like probably 10% of that number that Karen just gave us is in the greater Charlotte area. And that's a lot of agents for our area and for the number of homes that we have available here, especially. So you do want to set yourself aside. This is why are people going to choose you instead of, you know, those 10,000 others or whatever that number might be specifically. And, you know, what's going to set you apart and make people want to come to you and your company, just like when you chose to come to Realty One Group, what made us special? And those same things are going to make you special to your clients and our company special to your clients as well. So next we're going to move on to creating your individual branding. Your email signature is a crucial tool that's going to consistently brand you with anybody that you communicate with. An excellent email signature is not only your name, it should state where you work, what you do, and how well you do it. It should also include all of your pertinent contact information and links to your website, if you have that, which you all do, as well as all of your social media pages, which you should all have those too, okay? Be sure to include a call to action in your signature block, such as a link to a free MLS home search. You're going to be sending thousands of emails in your real estate career. Guys, I can't stress that enough. And your email signature speaks volumes. This comes down to even when you're sending an offer in for a client. You guys, do you know how many buyer's agents that I get that will send me an offer and they don't have a contact phone number at the bottom of their email signature? Bad agent. Like, I need to be able to contact you on a quickness, especially in this industry. So please make sure those things are set up. And something important to note is that in today's world, text messaging has become one of the primary methods of communication. So you want to make sure that your cell phone number is listed everywhere, 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 everywhere. Using the ROG branded signature, which can be downloaded from the branding section of the realtyrungroup.com page, is a great way to go ahead and get your email set up. And it's going to look like what you're seeing here on your screen. If you guys have not set this up for yourselves already, definitely get with your mentor or with your broker in charge if you have questions about doing this, and let's get this set up for you immediately. Once you do this in your system, you can customize the websites and everything else that pop into it. It's not going to show up obviously like this either. Okay. And then just so you know, down here, if you guys haven't been to this site yet, the branding.realtyrungroup.com, this is where you're going to get all of your logos, your fonts, your letterheads. If you're having signs made, it has all of our, our colors and that kind of stuff that you need. Everything's going to be right here in this section. So visit that if you haven't already. And hopefully some of you have several times, I'm assuming. All right, your voicemail greeting, like your voicemail signature, your voicemail message is a powerful communication tool. You can literally create a 15 or 30-second free commercial to boost your business. Not the ordinary voicemail if you heard 1,000 times. You want something that's powerful, passionate, and charged. Your voicemail is sometimes your only chance to make a first impression and can instantly set you apart from other agents. You're going to spend hours upon hours building your business, not to overlook all the money that you're going to spend to get the phone to ring. So capturing every call is extremely critical. This process starts with your message. Some steps to consider: listen to your current voicemail word for word and decide how it makes you feel. Close your eyes, take a moment, and see how it makes you feel. Does it move you? Is it memorable? Is it a good representation of who you are and how you want people to think of you? Reconsider all those things. Potentially outline a new message based off of that. Decide which items you want to include, such as a call to action, your selling strengths, why you're in real estate, how you can or want to help people. Your company name is very important, and what you specialize in or your primary purpose. Don't be redundant. Don't state the obvious. Use words that you're going to normally use so you will flow and sound natural. And above all, don't try to sound like someone else. Write your message and practice it. Have your friends or family listen to it and critique your own message. And then once you've recorded it, make sure to make that outstanding first impression. Does anybody have a voicemail that they have done or listened to recently from another agent that was a win or not one? Any examples that you guys have that you've come across so far? Don't speak all at once now.
I get a lot of those generic, please leave a message for, and then the number, I very rarely get one that has like a personal greeting on it.
Isn't that frustrating though? Because sometimes when we're calling, we want to make sure we're actually getting the person that's the listing agent or the buyer's agent that we're working with. And we don't even know if we're leaving a message for the right person. I mean, it makes you feel very insecure, doesn't it? So imagine how your clients would feel if you're that person. Don't be that person, right?
Yeah. Or voicemail's full.
Yeah, that too. And it happens. I hate to say it, I've done it myself a couple of times. So it's always good that we do have the ability to follow through with text messaging and stuff like that, but don't be that guy. Okay. Just don't be that guy, because what that says to a lot of people, and especially your prospective clients, is that you don't necessarily do this full time. If you're not committing to your voicemail having this information on it, then, are you really embracing what it is that you're doing as a career? And are you really taking this seriously as an agent? So make sure that you're putting it out there. I constantly preach, you guys, if you work with me or as you're one of my mentees, you know that I constantly preach that whole put yourself out there, network. Well, this is the biggest way to do it. You are busting butt. You are doing everything that you need to do to get out there. You're doing your open houses. You're doing your farming. You're going out there networking. And when people call you, they need to know they're actually reaching who it was that they spoke to. So this is imperative. Your first week in real estate, get this set up. Please, please, please. So, your homework, I guess, from this whole experience, you guys, is to go back and listen to your voicemail and ask, does it move you? Is it memorable? Is it a good representation of who you are? If you are a fun, bubbly personality, I don't want to hear one of those typical voicemails Oh, you've reached so-and-so, give me a call back. If you're not an Eeyore, don't sound like one, you guys, okay? If you are fun and quirky, be fun and quirky on your voicemail. You know, be you and embrace you. And that is perfectly okay, because that's what's going to set you apart for everybody else. Individual branding. I love this part, you guys. I so love this part. When creating and redefining your brand, which we all do either when we're in real estate or we're changing companies or we're doing something on our own, as far as creating maybe your own team or kind of, really putting yourself out there in a different way. It's really key that you have consistency across all of your platforms. Whether you are prospecting or reaching out to existing clients, they need to find you online and in print, and the look and the feel should be the same across the board. This is going to help you create brand recognition. Take the time to review your branding, make sure that you make edits if at all necessary. You want to make sure that you're checking your agent websites, your social media pages. This is Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, online portals and profiles through realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, all of those. Any printed marketing materials, make sure your open house flyers, your pre-listing packages, your market updates, your newsletters, if you use another component to send those out, all of those need to kind of have the same brand recognition in there. So I challenge you to kind of go back and look at your social media and see what it is that you're lacking and that you can go back through. And guys, look, your social media pages, like your Facebook profile and that kind of stuff, when you're setting up your business pages, put your nice, pretty profile picture on there. That's awesome. But you have that banner part at the top. And you can easily go into the Realty One Group site and take and download a background for that has the Realty One Group logo and colors or something seasonal or fun that has to do with that. And that's going to keep your branding consistent, but you can still kind of switch it up and have a good time with it. So you just want to ask yourself, when you go through all of your stuff today or this week, as you kind of work through the stuff that your homework assignments from this, does your profile look professional? Does it represent your personal agent brand and your company's brand? First and foremost, we have to make sure we're abiding by those terms. Is it obvious that you're in real estate? Guys, advertise, right? If you were a potential client, would you hire yourself to represent you or market the listing of your sale? Would you, we are our own worst critics, right? So let's make sure that we would hire ourselves. And what are some suggested changes that will help? Let's go through all those questions. Remember, your clients are going to look you up on Google and social media before they meet you. So you want to make sure that message that they are receiving when they are doing that is the message that you're wanting to send out there and what you're putting forth of yourself. Who's Googled themselves lately? Anybody? Raise of hands.
I have.
Yes. Did you find anything
Yes.
interesting?
Yes, I recognize that I've lived in a lot of places. They don't know really how to find me anymore. That's why, actually, I keep my Toutant name. That's my first husband's name. And I built my business around that. And my first business, and it's such a unique name. At least they can find me that way. So I did Google myself, and it's pretty impressive what I saw.
That's fantastic. I have the opposite problem, because I have a very unique last name as well, but my ex-father-in-law is very predominant. And so if you Google me, he comes up for like 3 pages. Sure. And so I'm constantly just trying to push my SEO so I can get up there higher. So I tell you guys all the time, look, Google yourself. You only get one chance to make a good first impression, you guys. Thank you for sharing that, Karen. You want to make sure that what you have out there is good. I will tell you that I had one situation that happened one time years ago where, how like you put the little profile picture in your social media things, and sometimes it like auto formats, and like you were seeing my left shoulder, it wasn't my face. And I had no idea. I had said it and forgotten about it, as we oftentimes do. So make sure you're going back at least quarterly and double checking all of your stuff so that you find anything wonky that kind of happens. Because sometimes even formatting is just not your best friend there. So, ask yourself again, would you hire yourself based off of all of those things? I mean, that's the biggest question here, right? All right, let's talk about farming. Dun, dun, dun. We all love this. The idea of farming is to choose a specific area, demographic, or psychographic area and specialize in it. You're going to nurture and farm it over time, and you want to become the top of mind real estate agent for that particular farm. You want to be the real estate professional of your choice. Is it an agricultural farm? Just like you're going to plant the seed, fertilize it, water, nurture it until it grows and eventually produces crops. The advantage here is that you can actually choose the crops and clients that you want. So this is the same concept, you guys. And one thing I often tell people is start off in your own independent neighborhood. People already know you there. Start off in your church, start off in your kids' school, start off in those places that you go and people already know you because you've already got a leg up, and farm those areas however it is that you can based off of, the things that we're going to talk about. It doesn't just have to be your, a random neighborhood or anything like that. You can base it off of a specific client type. You can select employers as being, someone that you want to farm, particular employers, because maybe you've got a lot of people coming into the area. Similar interests and activities. Let's talk about, if you like to go RVing and camping and those are your people, figure out a way to farm them. If you are big into the food scene and you're a foodie, figure out how you're going to farm people like that too. Like figure out your interest in activities or the interest in activities of your ideal client and farm them. This is not just to go in mailbox to mailbox thing, you guys. I think everybody kind of gets that in their head that you got to go door to door in a neighborhood and that's farming. No, farming goes far beyond just going door to door in a neighborhood. So be open-minded with how it is that that's the case. So let's just talk about the types of farming real quick. Geographic is based on a community, neighborhood, or subdivision. This is your typical, what comes to mind. Demographic is based on maybe distressed sellers, first-time home buyers, military. These are your client types, okay? Maybe you want to get certified in some of the programs the state has to offer with first-time home buyers and some assistance and that kind of stuff. So this is that demographic that you're chasing there. And the psychographic, again, is just a subset, and that's based off of a prospect's interest. Maybe something that you could do for that is to search people to have those same interests on something like LinkedIn, or to watch your community Facebook pages for those specific interests and target those people that are commenting. I love to talk to other moms because I'm a mom of 4. And so that tends to kind of be a good subset for me. And so I'm watching the Union County moms websites and those kinds of things. So find where you fit into your area and, take that opportunity to start connecting with people and farming that way. There's a very prevalent agent that is unfortunately not with us. I would love to have her at some point. That is a friend of mine, but she spends $0, you guys, $0 in advertising, 0. But she spends 4 to 6 hours a day on social media. I don't know about you. I don't have time to do that. She does have time to do that. But I tell you what, she has built a mega business off of just connecting and farming. That's what she is doing, is she is farming based on those similar interests and activities. She's also doing it based on geographic locations because she's active in the local Facebook pages and stuff. And she's doing it based on the demographics too, because she throws in her advertisement for any programs that her lenders and stuff are offering and uses that as a way up. You guys, farming is not just going and knocking on doors, okay? Utilize what it is that you can, but to build a business where you're making 6 figures off of 0 advertising dollars is amazing. And you guys can do it too, even if you're just putting in 30 minutes a day, not several hours. This is one of those fields for you to kind of look into. Anybody have any other ideas? Give me some other ideas about demographics that you might want to pursue. I've given you some ideas for me, but what if I were to say, okay, here, what are you going to farm besides just your neighborhood? What are some thoughts that you guys have that come to mind immediately for you?
Well, I know for me, working at the barn was never my intention to pick up clients. That was my happy place. And, but I have picked up clients. So yeah, I mean, it's getting involved and just putting it out there. Not that you're like fishing for like I don't say, oh, by the way, I'm a realtor, if you have anything, come. No, it just in natural conversation it comes up, or my friend will say, oh, did you know, they'll start talking about, oh yeah, I wish I could have land for horses or whatever, and then my friend will say, oh, did you know she's a realtor, so and she's like, here you go, talk to her, so it's And I've picked up like 3 clients there. So yeah,
That's
it's
fantastic.
yeah.
So we're
it's just
using that common
all-
interest.
yeah, just getting out there and being involved in stuff, it'll come up and people will start, asking you questions, and sooner, than you think, you have somebody, a client. So
Awesome. That's a good idea. Thank you for sharing. Kay, does anything come to mind for you? I'm going to call you out when your mute button's on, huh?
I'll speak up while we wait for Kay.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
So this is Karen. Okay, so what I have been attempting to do, even around COVID, is join a couple of meetup groups based on my specific interests. And I like to go out to dinner. So I've been trying to join a couple of groups that are specific to that. And then I'll move into discussing or sharing what I do. The other thing that I will be doing as well, in every state that I've ever lived in, I belong to either the yacht club or the country club or the women's leagues.
Mhm.
And I give of myself to those programs before I start talking and vomiting my business. They
Mhm.
have to know I'm viable, that I'm not there just to hand my card out. They have to know that I will do something for them.
Mhm.
So that has served me very, very well in my life as a businesswoman, giving back first.
I think it's a great idea. Absolutely.
oh, also, that reminded me, I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
And the reason I joined is because, again, it wasn't my intent to get out there and get business, but I joined because I wanted a booth at Mitten Hill Madness, and they were only giving it to members of the chamber. So I joined, and by the way, that turned out really well. So,
Yay.
but just at my booth, we had commissioners and
most likely we'll get the invoice like Monday, Tuesday.
other we had the mayor and the town commissioners and other prominent business people in town that were coming by and saying, waving and saying hi, it's good to see you, so just getting involved
Good.
locally and in different, like Karen said, different organizations or things like that, your face becomes visible. And I even had I did advertise in the Mitten Hill Times, but one of our state representatives was at a meeting I was at, and looked at me. He's like, "You look really familiar. Do I know you? Have we met?" And he's like, "Are you in the media?" And then I thought afterwards, it's like, he probably saw me in the newspaper, but
Mhm.
but you do get recognition,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Absolutely.
necessarily to go out there and promote myself and say, hey, everybody recognize me, but as a byproduct that has happened. So that's kind of cool.
Mhm. Absolutely. Perfect. That's good. Kay, do we need to come back to you later?
No, hold on one second. I'm actually taking a call from an attorney on one of my listings. So if
Okay.
you give me 1 second, I will
Go.
join you in 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead and mute yourself again. We'll continue on and we can circle back around.
Thank you.
Okay. We all know those moments. They happen. All right, let's see, you guys. Researching and choosing your farm. There's a farm analysis spreadsheet that you got in your email that is going to kind of walk you through this as far as calculating your potential return on this. Utilizing MLS and tax records to research community specifics. How many homes do they have in that particular subdivision? What's the average sales price? What's the turnover rate, which is how many homes on average sold per year over the last 5 years? What's the agent saturation? Does one particular agent or team sell the majority of those communities? I tell you what, guys, I have a couple of these that are in my little sphere where it seems like 1 or 2 agents sell that entire neighborhood out because they live in it, they have it on lockdown. When you start working a little bit outside of your market, you run into that quite a bit. And you want to be that agent. So how is it that you can take over that neighborhood as that agent? Because guess what? Agents move too. And sometimes people don't want to work with their neighbor because they don't want them to know too much. personally speaking, my next door neighbor literally just sold their house. And we've lived with them next to them for 2 years. Our kids played, it was fun and dandy. And then all of a sudden a for sale sign goes up in their yard. And it was like, whoa, hold on a second, got a little offended, but then I realized that they didn't want me to know their family position and what was going on in their lives. So guys, just because you see that an agent has saturated a market doesn't mean that it's necessarily completely off limits. So, sometimes people don't want to work with their friends. If you've got 5 agents in a neighborhood, they're oftentimes their neighbors are going to list with someone else because they don't want to put their personal financials out with someone who plays with their kids or somebody they go play bunco with on the weekends and that kind of stuff. So don't let that scare you. Okay. You're also going to look at potential return based on your previous research. What can be expected as potential income from the community? Keep in mind that there are 2 potential transactions for two potential commissions for every transaction. You can be on the buyer side and the seller side. So don't let that deter you either. Like, you have those options. If you've got the right buyer for somebody that you're farming for, there's a potential there for you to make a little bit more off of that and make it worth your while. What did I do? Come on. Wrong direction. Sorry, guys. Title companies are excellent information resources. Your title company can help you choose and maintain your farms. Some of the tools that they use is farm packages, full of information about geographic farms, property profiles, farming apps, and mailing addresses. Okay, guys, let's be honest. In North and South Carolina, we don't typically tend to use title companies. This is a generic part of our training session because other states do use title companies. We do have title companies in North and South Carolina, and we do use attorneys who then farm out their titles to title companies as well. So you can also check this out through your attorney's offices, maybe even talk to them and who their title companies are and see if you can kind of hook up with them. We've got some pretty cool resources too, as far as addresses and stuff are concerned as well. So when you start getting into your farming, reach out to your mentor, to your broker in charge, and talk to them about who it is that they have used for sourcing out some of this information, because there are some good resources out there. And it's really kind of specific to what it is that you're looking to do, though. So do feel free to reach out to us, because sometimes we've got some little tricks for you too. Okay. But sometimes your title companies can be of assistance. You're going to want to research your neighborhood. When you're doing a geographic farm, you guys don't just take the numbers that you see offline, go drive it. Please go drive it. You want to look at the elevations of the homes. Is the community aesthetically pleasing? Check out your entrances and your exits. Is the HOA of good quality? Is the community well maintained and regulated by the HOA? Are the yards maintained? Are there too many vehicles poorly maintained or bad landscaping? It can be a major drawback if the community isn't regulated and kept well, and can ultimately affect sales ability and values. In a standard market, we know right now a lot of people just don't care. We're seeing houses sell everywhere. But let's make sure if we're putting advertising dollars somewhere, it's somewhere you're going to get return, and it's going to be something that's sellable. Okay. You want to preview the homes that are currently on the market in that neighborhood. Guys, if you were in the mentorship program, you have to have 20 previews anyway. So 2 birds, 1 stone, go out there and inspect your properties, your neighborhoods, if you're going to be farming a neighborhood, and go look at those available properties and write them down and send them to your mentor. And then you want to talk about the features and benefits versus the non-desirables. Are you looking at the community in both a positive and a negative aspect? Remember, this is not just for you. You're not the one living there. We're looking at it through the client's eyes. Is there a park or community features that can affect values? Does the community back up to a busy street, freeway, school districts? Are there power lines? Is there anything that's going to affect it in an adverse manner? And make sure you're kind of weighing that out, right? And you're going to see that if it's got a high turnover, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that's great, because I can make 2 sides of a deal and there's a lot of turnover. But then you're also stopping and saying, wait, why is there so much turnover? If you're in a great neighborhood, people don't tend to move a lot. So you want to be able to answer those questions to yourself and to your potential clients while you're farming those areas and making sure that's where you want to develop your market and put your money. Marketing materials. You're going to connect with people through an introduction or announcement letter, hopefully. This is where you can kind of introduce yourself to your farm. It's kind of your basic thing. You want to talk to them and tell them that you're a local specialist in your area. You want to make sure you include calls to action that outline any benefits that you're going to be providing. Maybe you can talk about providing monthly newsletter, market updates, free valuation on their property, something like that that's going to get people engaged. Then you can set them up to do a monthly or bi-monthly newsletter. And it's a sort, you can check with your local vendors and your association of realtors for any templates. We have some stuff that we recommend as well. And then customize it with a photo of the entrance of the neighborhood. Make this something that you do specifically for those folks that signed up under you for that neighborhood. So it shows that time and attention, and it's not generic. Social media, of course, circle prospecting and market updates. I think we've kind of covered all those as we go through, but just making sure that we're connecting with those people on every level. If they register with you because you send out an announcement letter and they email you and say, hey, put me on your newsletter, make sure that you're also, checking them out on social media as well. Why does this keep going backwards? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Okay, the details do matter if you want results. You can use the Farm Connect grid. This talks to you about like mapping things out. So it's an excellent tool used to outline when, how, and what will be delivered to your farm. It's essential that your map this out in advance, so you're not having to figure it out as you go. You'll lose momentum if you don't plan in advance. Consistent messaging. Materials being delivered to your farm should contain a consistent message, branding you as the neighborhood specialist and asking for business. Color schemes and styles, again, as we talked before, need to remain consistent so each piece clearly states you as a real estate agent of choice. We all know when we get something red in the mail, it is who? Come on. It's a real estate agency that has red. Guys.
KW.
Yep,
Keller
right. I always
Williams.
joke about drinking the KW Kool-Aid because it's red, right? And who was blue? Anybody? Coal Banker. Coal Banker's your blue firm. And then you have us, right? We've got the coolest colors, you guys. Brand it and use it, right? Who doesn't look better in black and gold? So make sure that you're using all these things across the board for yourselves. Any materials that do deliver to your farm should be of the highest quality. Full color, quality paper. It's a reflection of you and who you are, okay? Doing it right on a smaller scale is better than doing it wrong on a larger scale because you're spinning your wheels, okay? So keep in mind that you are competing with people that are doing high quality things, and you can't always afford to fork out a whole bunch, but do put your best foot forward. We understand that you can't always do that, but what you lack maybe in funds, in advertising dollar to put towards fancy postcards and stuff, you make up for in personality when you're doing your door knocking and stuff too. Or you're making it up for it because you're circle marketing and going back to them and hitting them on all fronts, not just putting something in their mailbox, right? Don't spin your wheels, do it right, and you're going to get more quality clients out of it in the long term. And then a call to action is always very, very important, guys. I can't stress this enough. You want people to have a reason to call you. You can say, please feel free to connect up to us for the top ways to increase your property value. You just want to connect with people. So give them a reason to want to talk to you. Okay. Don't do it like I don't know if you guys have seen the recent agent on social media that had some interesting marketing techniques with his MLS photos and got let go from his company from it. But I tell you what, he went viral, right? But don't be that guy. Let's just do quality.
Yeah, what do you suggest about, this is Kay, about TikTok? Because there was a realtor, I want to say she's based in Florida, and she blew up about what not to do when you become a realtor. Like, she made all this money and she blew it. And, it's kind of like a lessons learned. But from that, she was already big time as a realtor, her company. Mm-hmm. But it blew up even more. And every time I turn around, she's on a lot of interviews. Everybody want to interview her, what she's thinking about. And I'm like, I'm not a TikToker. So I'm like, I'm old school. So I'm like, what do you do with that? Because it's like, you got to do what everybody else is doing too.
You don't.
No,
because it's going to depend too on who your clientele is, right? My clients aren't on TikTok. I'll be completely honest with you. Okay. My clients are not on TikTok. Follow where it is that your clients are, right? If you are, military yourself or military family or something like that, you're going to, those avenues that you guys have that, regular civilians don't have. If you have, somebody that, like, I've got one agent, great agent, works in healthcare. Most of his clients work in healthcare. He has worked that field. He's not on TikTok. He's working what he knows.
So I think one of her kickback was she said she got a lot of feedback from other people like, why would you do that? Because we're targeting the adults, those that can.
Oh no, we're not
You know,
targeting adults because most of your millennials, there's a lot of money in millennials.
right.
A lot of money in millennials.
So she's saying that she even got referrals from, the young kids watching the TikTok. They told their parents about it and she got referrals behind that. So that was another strategy why she used TikTok. I was like, okay, all right.
My kids are one of my biggest advertising sources. My daughter literally came home from school the other day and they were talking about what their parents did or something like that. And I was like, well, what did you tell them that I do? And she goes, my mommy sells house. My mommy's a realtor. And when you want to sell your house, here's her phone number. She's 7.
Yeah, there you go. 7. Yeah.
Right. So it's if this chick knows TikTok and she knows those trends and she wants to spend her time doing that and she wants to do her farm doing that, that's cool. I will tell you there's a market for that, right? I will also tell you though that there's a certain type of clients, my personal type A's, because I'm a type A and I attract like people, right? And my people will look at that and be like, if you're spending your time dancing on TikTok, you are not doing best for me.
That's a good point.
You've got to decide where your clients are, right? Because we ride this fine line. We don't want to necessarily stick with one particular demographic, of course, but at the same part, like, your people. And my people, if they see TikTok, it's on a funny Facebook reel when they're checking in with family or something like that. My people don't have time to spend hours watching TikTok. But there are plenty of people out there that are. So if that's your thing, if you've got teenage kids that want to teach you how to TikTok, then run with it and see if it works for you, because what works for me doesn't work for everybody. And what works for them, I will tell you, I'll share stories where I've spent thousands of dollars advertising in places that should have brought me returns, brought other agents returns, and I never saw a dime out of it. But I have other things that I do that they can't work. It's just a different personality thing. It's whatever it might be. You just got to find what works for you. If TikTok works for that agent, good for her. But I don't have time to read comments. I don't have time. I mean, she's blowing up in Ashley, which is great because maybe she's getting some referrals, right? Like, that's awesome. But I mean, let's be completely honest. Is that where your client demographic is? And if it's not, don't waste your time on it. Because for every agent that is doing TikTok and trying these new trends, they're forgetting about the tried and true that works for you, right? So if they would have been farming, if they would have been networking, if they would have been doing these things, they're now spending that time doing on TikTok. Guess where all those clients are that they would have originally gotten? They're available. So you play to your strengths. Try new things. Have fun with it. I'm not saying not to. But if it's not your strength, if it doesn't bring you joy and it doesn't bring you business, then stop doing it. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing because there's so many toys in the sandbox. You do not need to do what everybody else is doing to capture the client that's right for you. Because I will tell you, your clients are different from my clients, are different from Karen's, are different from Aaron's. You guys have heard me preach time and time again that I have a team for a reason, right? And Kim has been with me for years now at this point. And if you guys ever meet her, she's that lovely hand-holding type of person. She's super sweet. She'd give the shirt off her back for anybody. She's that person. And we attract different clients. She can't stand my clients. I can't handle hers. My people are demanding, her people are need that hand holding and that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? We network different ways. She gets her clients different ways because they're attracted to her and her interests and her things, not me and mine. So it makes sense when you look at it that way. If I advertise in a way that's not me, I'm going to get clients that aren't necessarily going to jive with me too, and I don't necessarily want that either. You don't want to waste your time networking or money putting it into something that isn't going to bring you those clients that are going to be fruitful for you and have a good experience and leave you good reviews. So do what you know and what you love. Try new things. But if you don't know and love it after a while, don't waste your time. That's my speech. Does that make sense?
It all makes sense.
Okay, good.
It does. It all makes sense.
And if you play with anything on TikTok, you have to send it to me.
I don't think I'm doing it. Yeah, no.
So we will be having a video marketing class that kind of talks about doing your agent bio and stuff like that on video.
Okay.
TikTok is not going to be covered in that. If I especially you're not TikToking, I'm gonna let you know right now. Okay.
Okay, that's great. I can handle that.
All right, let's see. So let's probably, where did I get back to? All right, 2 basic ways to get your delivery done, guys. Walk your farm. Woohoo! That's your door knocking. That's putting stuff out there. I love Halloween time. It's always cool to do it around Halloween because you put little candy bags with it or something like that. That's fun. You can mail things to your farm. It's going to save time, but it's going to be expensive, you guys, right? So watch out. Your postcards and stuff add up. And then you want to make sure, look, you're going to be investing in this 6 to 9 months before you actually get a return on anything that you farm in general. So make sure that your budget is going to allow for you to make contact with those people over a long period of time. You know, a lot of agents come in and they want to do 2,000 homes right off the bat. And it's like, well, that's great, right? But that's, you know, quite a bit of money every time that you have to put it out there. And you're going to commit to doing this, you know, every other week to at least every 4 weeks for the next 6 to 9 months. And that's going to add up. So make sure when you start picking your farming market, it's small enough for you to manage within your budget if you're going to be mailing things out. And if you're kind of somewhere in the middle, consider doing a combination of both. Go out, you know, do your mailers and then let people see your face, and then do your mailers again and let them see your face again. One of my favorite things to do is to go take a neighborhood and walk the dog and let the kids ride their bikes and that kind of stuff. Because people, look, I'm a mom. It's one of those things. I will harp on that all day long. A family is incredibly important to me, and most of my clients are the same way. So when they see you out there with your kids, it gives you a reason to engage. So find a reason to engage. If it's taking your, you know, like Erin was talking, you know, going out to the horse, anything that she does with her horses, or Karen, when she was talking about going out and, you know, she's becoming a foodie and she wants to go eat stuff, like, you know, making sure that you can farm both ways. But this is kind of the bigger thing here, you know, obviously. All right, there's my tangent there. But your combo approach is oftentimes, I feel personally, the best way to go, because you don't want to just be a 2-dimensional piece of paper that they get in the mailbox. You want them to see your face one way or another. So sponsor some community events, or, you know, reach out to the HOA and the board and see if there's anything that you can do for them. And you'd be surprised. You know, sometimes it's just as simplest thing as printing something for them. Maybe they need printing costs or something like that, and they're willing to include you on an advertisement. You'd be surprised. Developing, it keeps going backwards. What's going on here? All right, tips on walking your farm. Make sure you dress comfortably and professionally. This is not the time to wear 6-inch stilettos. You know, go ahead and put your cute little flats on. Make sure you're going at effective times. The best times to walk your farm are when people are going to be home. That's weekends and afternoons. That's not the time that we necessarily want to be out there walking neighborhoods, you guys, but that's the best time for us to do it, because people are outside doing yard work, they're washing their cars, they're doing this kind of stuff. Make sure you're bringing a tablet or a notepad for follow-up. I put all of my notes in my phone. I'll be honest with you. I don't like to carry extra things, and I'll tell people flat out, hey, I'm not texting while we're talking. I'm actually writing this down because I like to keep everything green. But it also allows for you to send them things. So make sure that you have the MLS app downloaded or the One app downloaded so that you can immediately connect with them by sending that to them too, directly from your phone when you're out. Business cards, of course, too, is great to have on cue. And again, I would do those electronically. That way you're not having to carry a bunch of stuff in your pockets, but I do keep a couple in my pockets occasionally for those that might not have their phone with them or are more paper touchy-feely kind of people. Once you've met or spoken with a contact in your farm, you're now connected. Make a point to contact with everybody in your farm so you can become connected. Make your goal to be able to see and have a conversation with every homeowner in that neighborhood for one reason or another. You know, maybe you're doing an open house in that neighborhood and you're putting signs in every corner. Guess what? Go up and talk to those people before you put a sign, a directional sign in their yard, and say to them, hey, look, this is going to be out here for a couple hours. Here's my card. If you have any problems, let me know. Thank you so much for, you know, helping me build the value in your neighborhood by selling your neighbor's home. So make contact with people. And then there's the walking farm app is something that title companies do. So we're going to kind of skip over that because that's not really going to work for us. Building your farm facts. Oh, these are always fun. Create a document or spreadsheet to compile pertinent information in your farm as you come across it. Your goal in farming is to become an expert on your farming area. So as you communicate people with your farm, it's going to allow you to build that database up and know more about the neighborhood. You know, people are going to tell you, oh, well, we just changed this in our bylaws, or, oh, we're going to be doing this capital improvement project in our pool next year. We're getting a brand new pool and we're getting this and that. So talk to them. Know how many homes are in your farm so you can print the appropriate number of materials and not waste any time or money. You want to know how long the walk is so that you can plan accordingly. Once you've done it, record it So that in the future, you know, hey, I've got 2 hours, I can go hit this particular neighborhood in 2 hours, or I've only got 30 minutes and there's no way I can get this one done. Gather any pertinent information, look for properties that look like they're vacant and do the necessary research. See if it looks like someone has recently moved out, note who's moving in, note which ones are coming available so you can get in there and preview them if you haven't seen those floor plans before. That, you know, you want to know everything that the neighborhood has to offer as far as amenities and that kind of stuff goes, and how close it is to things. Because if somebody asks you something about the neighborhood you're farming and you're saying you're the resident expert, you need to make sure you actually are, you know, put your knowledge there. And then you want to note improvements and changes. You know, is there new businesses coming in? Have they done some road construction? And then also look for any damages, graffiti that needs to be done, or hazards and that kind of stuff. If you're out there in these neighborhoods, you guys, make sure that you're reaching out to the HOA if you note something, and just say, hey, you know, just a heads up, I was walking your neighborhood and I noticed that this was here. I just want to bring it to your attention, yada, yada, because they're going to appreciate that. It's going to make another connection in that neighborhood. Any questions on any of that? No?
No questions. I guess, you know, when you're walking around and you're taking a look what's going around and so forth, I think a big thing is, at least where I'm at, I'm in Indiana, Lancaster, and there's so many amenities in the subdivision I live in. But with that being said, there's a bond, right? There's a residential like land bond that helps pay the upkeep of all that by the county. That's tagged on, that price tag is tagged on to the taxes. Like,
Are you in Bed Creek?
I'm in Walnut Creek.
You're in Walnut Creek. Yep. Okay.
It's in Walnut Creek that's happening. And I've run into other people where, you know, the agents, so, you know, work with them and they help them to buy their home. And I'm also on the HOA board. I'm the vice president on the board. So they're coming back to the board saying, hey, the board is not saying enough about this bond. You know, when I bought this house, nobody said anything, but it was like, I was like, well, did your agent, you know, do any research and let you know that that was a, you know, a part of, and they're like, no. So, I mean, I guess that's a good call out. Like, how far do we go? Like, do we need to be researching all that as agents on behalf of our clients if there is a land bond? And yeah, and cost is important to your client, right?
So there are a couple of times that should have already come up, right? And a lot of clients, I hate to say it, were aware of it, but weren't blatantly explained it. Okay. So in your property disclosures, you know, those kinds of things, in MLS, there's actually a section that says, are there any assessments? Are there any additional yada, yada, yadas? There are several places in there that the homeowner and the listing agent should have put that stuff out there. But keeping in mind, this is always a buyer beware situation, right? Like, when you're a buyer's agent, you need to be researching these things. That's why we get to know these neighborhoods in these areas. But you can actually look as well on the tax records. That's going to show some stuff on there too. Your builders have a special section, of course, on that 150 some odd page contract that talks about it if it's, you know, applicable to that neighborhood too. So there are tons of times and places that those kind of come into effect that everybody should have kind of known about it ahead of time. And a lot of times, especially with new construction, people were told in that 150 some odd page contract, but they didn't understand it. There was a lot of information going on and that kind of stuff for you to get it. And then I will tell you, I cheat. I'm not even going to lie. I am totally a cheater. When I go to list a property, when I'm listing a property or I'm buying a property, one of the big things that I do is I go look at other things that have closed in that neighborhood. And I check those agent notes and I check those special sections that I talked about to see if there are any flags that should be going off for me. If I'm not very familiar personally with that neighborhood, that's the first thing I'm going to do is kind of go back. I mean, it's cheating, but it's research, right? Going back and checking. I'm looking at their attachments. Do they have an extra attachment that for some reason I didn't see? You know, you do the same thing. It works out sometimes outside of our market because I cover the beach areas too. And so, you know, when you're near an Air Force base or something, you have special disclosures for air noise. When you have tidelands issues, you have special flood things. We're still dealing with special things for Hurricane Katrina out at the coast and whether or not there was damage from Katrina because of FEMA regulations and that kind of stuff. So, you know, even if it's a market 5 hours away versus a market 10 minutes away that you just don't know that much about, do your extra research and look at the other listings in that area and see if there's anything that's a red flag to you or anything that you could be missing too. You know, we're not expected to know everything, but you are expected to know how to find those answers. And that's one of the ways that I have found to do it, to be honest, is, you know, can we take that for, let me make sure I'm putting this correctly. Anything that's previously listed in MLS and that kind of stuff is not final word or say. You still have to confirm. Let me make that very, very clear. I don't want to say go copy what was listed in MLS previously to your listing, because you're not going to do that. But what you are going to do is to research that market in that neighborhood and see if there's anything funky that comes up, so that you know you need to dig down and get back down to the source of it. This is just a red flag, double checking yourself kind of thing, not a end all tell all because another agent said it was.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure I'm kind of coming across very, very clear with that. But that's one of my favorite ways to do it, because I'll get on there and I'll see, oh, wait, that agent noted a bond. Wait a minute, I didn't see a bond. And then go back to tax records
Okay.
and double check it.
Okay.
You know, or go back to your homeowner and say, hey, are you guys up with this? Because your homeowners will know we've got 4 more years left on it or whatever it might be too. So they'll have these things. And those things are also all listed a lot of times in the HOA documents. And so when your sellers send you those HOA documents, or when you pull them, actually read them, you guys, right? They're not just there to look pretty. We actually need to dig down through them and read them and make sure that our buyers are reading them too. And they're not going to, unless you point it out specifically and say, hey, look, I'm sending you this because there's some key points in this that I think you need to be aware of. You know, whether it's, hey, you can't have a commercial vehicle and I know that you own your own business, or, you know, something like, you know, we talked about the bonds and that kind of stuff. Make sure you're actually reading those documents, because they're provided for a reason. And a lot of people will say, oh, I never knew this. No, you just didn't click on it. And so we need to make sure we're encouraging our clients to click on it, and we're doing the same thing.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. Make sense?
Yep.
Yep. I know those bonds are, I tried to buy a house myself and it threw my DTI off having that bond. So like, I know exactly what you're going through, because it will do the same thing with your clients. When you hit that second bond, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, when you're pushing those numbers as it is, and then you have something like that pop up, it's very disappointing. And the last thing you want to do is find out after you've already put due diligence money down, or, you know, agreed to something else. That's always scary. So make sure you're watching those for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Very welcome, of course. All right, guys, again, we kind of go back to our 1 habit, 3 calls a day, 3 ads, and 6 notes. If you guys are doing any part of this, please, please, please focus on this. This is your best way for you to circle prospect and get out there. So when you meet somebody in a neighborhood, make sure you take down their address, you guys, and send them a note. Oh my gosh, one of my favorites, I'll share this with you. One of my favorite things to do, especially when I started, I need to do this again, was I would drop my kids off at preschool, and I would like go through neighborhoods, and I'd find a house that had really cool decorations, and it's a great time for it because of Halloween and fall, and then Christmas is coming up and all this good stuff. You know, find somebody that's got really cool decorations, take a picture of it, or go to their door and say, hey, would you mind if I snap a picture of this? I want to feature you on my website, on my social media page, because you've got really great decor, and, you know, I'm out here looking for it. So you could do it with like really great landscaping ideas. If you see somebody's putting a pool in, knock and ask them who they're using, if they've had a good experience for it. Hey, can I promote this? Hey, can I share this? Do Transformation Tuesdays. But I love, 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 knock on those people's doors and be like, oh my gosh, the 70,000 baby heads that you have in your front yard with the spider webs and the zombies attacking each other is the coolest thing ever. Can I take a video, and do I have your permission to post it? And here's my card. You know, this is just so awesome. Let's connect sometime. And then thank them in a thank you card. Tag them on social media when you post it. Guys, you can circle these are my ways of circle prospecting. I don't like the generic to like two-dimensional stuff. This is how I like to do things. So like, go out there and get excited and get fun, because people feel your excitement. And then they're like, oh my gosh, guess who? Like, some random realtor showed up on my doorstep today, and they will tell 12 people in their neighborhood that you showed up. And one of those 12 people is going to go, hey, you know what? I am thinking about selling my house, or, oh, my rental is getting ready to expire. I wonder if she can help me find a house in the neighborhood. Obviously, she's here. And guess who they're going to call? You know, go get people excited about their neighborhood, get them excited about their homes, and let them know you're excited too. And it's going to come back around for you. So that's my challenge for you this week. How about that? Go do something crazy. Go compliment a neighbor on their crazy yard decor. tag them in social media and send them a thank you card. Use that as one of your circle prospecting habits here and see how it pans out for you. Cool? Yeah.
Sounds great.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
good
great
tip.
idea. Thanks for sharing that.
I love it. I love it. All right, you guys. Well, have a wonderful week. Happy Monday to you. Do not forget, what do we have going on this week? We have got training on Wednesday at the office. We are having an inspector and a roofer come out, and I'm super excited because I need this roofer to teach me the difference between 3-tab and architectural shingles, y'all. I've got to figure this out because I cannot tell the difference from the ground.
Which office? Which
We are
office?
going to be meeting at Arboretum.
That is Charlotte.
Yep, that's Charlotte.
And then time.
10 o'clock.
Okay, for some reason, I'm not getting notifications of that, but I should be checking my schedule online.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do check in
All right.
zone, and it isn't normally they're posted in the Facebook pages too. So double check to make
Yeah.
sure that you're connected there.
All right.
But we have that this week, and then next week we've got some other fun stuff coming up. So do please come, especially if you're on the mentorship program. Of course, you've got to have at least 10 in-person classes done, like 10 of the office style trainings, yada yada, outside of Rev Up. So I cannot stress this enough. Plus, our lovely partners and vendors and stuff really love to see our faces and get in front of us. And they're great, valuable resources that you just don't know are there unless you get the chance to get to know them. So please come on out and ask some questions and stuff. Sean with Veterans will be there. Mark with Kaiser Roofing is going to be there. So it's going to be a great way to just kind of connect and have some people in your pocket too for anything that your clients need as well moving forward. Okay.
All
Will
right.
there be food?
I
Says
don't
the
know.
foodie. Says the
Speaking of
foodie.
food-
I want some food from a restaurant that's local, like a family restaurant. No, I'm just
You know,
teasing.
you are very demanding, Karen. I mean, just saying.
Hey,
Normally it's me.
I'm willing to bring a dish too. I mean, I think we should all get together and go to that workshop for safety. I think we should do some
agree.
bonding. You know, these are things for all of us.
Yes. Well, we are November 4th is our next social. We're doing it in Matthews at the place we went the last time. And it's one of our partners, Amy, with oh my heavenly stars.
Yeah, the bank, the mortgage company.
Yeah.
Yes, but what company is she with?
Why
Atlantic
can't I
Bay.
think of her name?
It's
what is
Atlantic
it?
Bay. Amy with Atlantic Bay. Sorry.
Yeah, that one.
It's actually her birthday that day too, so I'm sure it'll be fun.
Oh, that
Um,
will be.
And she's going to come out with us. So definitely
Good.
get on board for all those things. You guys, if you don't get to normally join us, please do. It is a lot of fun. We get everybody
It
together.
is.
And as always, call if you need anything. We're always here for you guys. And it was great. Have a happy Monday.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.